Testing 1 2 3 1 2. Right. Hello everyone. Welcome on in. Let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Alien Addict. This is the show where we discuss all things UFOs and aliens to the paranormal in our pursuit into the mysteries or the unexplained. Welcome on in. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Oh, I can't believe it's Christmas tomorrow. Has everyone got their presents ready? I haven't. Shh. I think there's one missing, but don't tell the missus. I know, I'll just put one of my presents and just flip the name over. We'll be fine. I'll figure it out. Looking at the quantity of my presents compared to the quantity of my missus' presents, I'm going, I could have done better. But she gave me the list. I got a bit lazy this year. I just said, look, here's the list of things I need and give me the list of things you need. And I'll just literally go on Amazon and just click buy. So, yeah. But nevertheless, yeah, it's a bit of a rarity. I don't think people go live on Christmas Eve. But I got stuff to talk about. I have so much content to talk about because, like I said, ideally, when it comes to like ufology, not a lot is going on in current day. Well, I could say like bits and pieces, which we'll talk about on Saturday, by the way. Obviously, no show Friday. It's going to be on Saturday. And I thought, what can I do to sort of cap off this year? And I think part 9 of German flying saucers, or nasty flying saucers, so to speak. So, yeah, we've gone back to publications once again. But nevertheless, I'm feeling a bit peckish. I don't know about you guys, but just think about tomorrow. I know people in America, they're 8 hours behind, but don't worry, your time's coming, baby. Check out this. Is going to be in your gobs very soon. So I'm going to rate this a 7 out of 10. Turkey looks a bit fucked. It looks like it's been hit by a car, but I've got the cranberry sauce. I think it's pretty much goes to say, if you're going to have sprouts, you've got to have like the bacon bits with it. And obviously, what made me sick, kind of made me sick yesterday, with the stuffings, the pigs and blanket. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Oh, I think it's horseradish. So that's going to get a 7 out of 10. That's more like it. That's like something my nan would make. but I think we've got beef for tomorrow. Hell yeah. But this is what I'm talking about. Oh my God. Get in my mouth this instant, especially you, turkey. Oh, I've got gammon ham. I've got that's lamb there, isn't it? Oh, it's one of my favorite meats. But anyway, just think about it. That's going to be in your gobs tomorrow. So, fuck is that? Is that hidden? It's me hidden, mate. Hidden, I found you, buddy. Nevertheless, let's crack on, because you know me and my food. I've been kind of starving myself because I know what's coming for tomorrow. It's going to be one of those days where you just shove your face with so much food. I can't bloody wait. Hold on, let's get to chat, because obviously you guys are important. Gorbell Scat, nice to see you, man. Yes, it looks absolutely. Oh, I have to admit, since like doing like proper exercise and actually cutting out all the crap to the best I can, my appetite has gone through the roof. I mean, I guess weed can give you the munchies, but I want, like, when I go out for a meal, I want quantity, not quality. You know, I just want to sort of just whack it on the plate. I want to feel stuffed if I'm paying for a meal that's like £16. Do you know what I mean? But nice to see you, Corbell Scout. Nice to see you. And Sheep Pop, yeah, beef, absolutely. Oh, mate, I can't wait for tomorrow. Paul Robinson, nice to see you, man. Bread sauce. Yes, of course, isn't it? It was just that yellow shit on top of it. I was like, what the hell is that? That's a lot of horseradish in that case. But yeah, bread sauce. Nice to see you, Paul Robinson. Thanks for being in chat, buddy. And Rotary Matrix, hope you're doing well, man. Happy 420. And to you too, kind sir, One Saxon. Thank you. You got Jamaican curry goat tonight. Oh, mate. Goat. But the actual meat goat. Or not like a chicken Jamaican curry. It's got the word goat in there. Not too sure. I've never had goat before. But anyway, nice to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. And wait for it. Hold on. Because your name came up. I'm like, I know your thumbnail, and it's Eversaw. I got your channel right here. I thought, I know it's that name, and I know it's not that, but it's Eversaw. But yeah, hope you're doing well, man. Welcome on in. And Pagani Productions, nice to see you. You have some fireworks. I don't know what I could do. Well, I was thinking for like New Year, I might have to do like the day before. Probably get some like fireworks and do like a little live stream outside. Do a bit like sky washing or something like that. We'll see. But yeah, hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing well. Let's go through. Hey, Nathan, how's it going? Nice to see you. Yeah, back. We're it's going to be all over the place today, man. It's going to be all over the place. But yeah, nice to see you, Nathan. Welcome on, then, brother. Nice to see you. We got here and Azuri boy. I remembered. Azuri boy, nice to see you. Welcome on in. And happy Christmas to everyone, especially you, John Strokes. I think that's everyone here. Yep, just going through quickly one more time. Yeah, that's it. Eversaw in the house. Yes, I thought so. I recognize these thumbnails, but YouTube's done a thing where they just changed the handle, and I'm just no idea. But yeah, don't worry, I'll get to it. But yes, Eversaw, I remember that. Oh, right. It's mutton. Ah. I don't think I've ever had mutton before. I'll ask my butchers, see if he's got any mutton. But it sounds delicious nevertheless. But goat, I'm not too sure. Oh, no, goat is mutton, isn't it? Mate, a bit of a retard when it comes to that, mate. I don't know. I just know lamb, beef, chicken, pork, and something else. Mutton is something. But yeah, I'll take your word for it, man. I sound like a right idiot at the moment. But nevertheless, let's get to German flying saucers, which is the main topic for today's show. Let's go all the way back. This is like a semi. Oh, mutton is dressed as lamb. Oh no, that's a saying, isn't it? That's when you see one of those like old English slappers that dressed in all in pink, isn't it? Mutton is an older lamb. Okay, fair enough. All right. I thought it was a younger lamb. Hold on. What is mutton? Oh, it's a mature sheep. Mutton is the sheep of a mature sheep. Okay, typically over 1 year old. Ah, it's known for its rich flavor and robust texture. Oh, mate, do you know what? There's a picture of it right there. That looks banging, mate. Gotcha. Right. Well, I've learned something today, and now I know what mutton sounds like without sounding like a complete retard. But nevertheless, let's get to German flying saucers. So today's topic, we're sort of taking a step back from Haunebu and Vril, all right? So if actually I should clarify to people who are new to Alien Addict, please like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. Help with the algorithms. And yeah, put a comment. It'd be nice to say, show your face and say hello. It'd be good to see you. In terms of, we're on part 9, I think, part 9 of German flying saucers. What I've done in those 9 parts, it's break the German flying saucer, the Nazi flying saucer conspiracy down right back to the beginning compared to what it is now. Sorry, what it is now, I should say. And I've gone through like publications, which I've gone all loads of them, absolutely loaded publications. So you can see a timeline to where the stories have almost got quite accentualized over the years, especially with the birth of the internet. So I've gone all the way back to the beginning to 1930s with Victor Schauberger. And then we move forward to the turbine-driven aircraft, which we're going to be talking about today, and then the Haunebu and Vril flying saucers. Just to clarify, so if you want to go back to part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you can understand what I'm talking about here. So it's tons and tons of hours for you to actually indulge into this. So what I'm going to focus on today, well, it's obviously the turbine-driven aircraft, which is this here. But just one clarification, I would consider 2 aspects of this German flying saucer, or UFO, so to speak. The Haunebu, which is here, and the Vril, I would classify them as flying saucers. But today's topic, it's going to be flying discs, okay? So there was 2 concepts from back in the day. It's one, this was before Haunebu and Vril. Hey, Green Tea, nice to see you. Welcome on in. Merry Christmas. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to be talking to a bit. Oh, no, that's cool. Mate, don't worry. Guys, honestly, there's it's Christmas Eve. You're there with the family. Do not apologize if you need to leave the chat or if you're just looking. Honestly, I will never ever. You're not obliged to be here. Honestly, you can. It's not going to go anywhere. You can come back whenever. I understand it's Christmas Eve. Normally I wasn't going to go live, but I thought, well, I've got nothing else better to do than talk about German flying saucers. But never hesitate to leave chat. And if you need to say goodbye, say goodbye. I'll keep my eye on chat today, but don't feel obliged, guys. But that's cool. One true Saxon man, and say hello to Bobby and the family for me. So yeah, today we're going to talk about Rudolf Schriever and German flying disc. So yeah, this is the flying disc program, turbine-driven aircraft, which was built from 1941, well, technically 1942. It was on the planning stages in 1941, but 1942 to 1945. But through the research that I have done on German, the Haunebu and Vril flying saucers, the anti-gravity flying saucers, so to speak, they have perfected that back in the 30s. So it makes you think, if they had that technology down to a T and we actually had test flights, successful test flights, because we had Haunebu 1, 2, 3, 4, and obviously Vril, Vrilion, which was basically Vril Orion, I think it was called, the last sort of ship that was built. So they had 5 working anti-gravity flying saucers. So why would they put all their time and effort into something like this? So yeah, these are turbine-driven aircraft. Slow you speaking down, Nick. And yeah, they were kind of, I do believe in one aspect that they did build something like this purely because it just seems feasible. It's like a gyroscope, isn't it? I'm just going to go through it just quickly, just a background of this. This is like a normal presentation that I've been doing. Yes, there are documentations to actually back up that the Germans were working on some sort of flying disc-shaped aircraft. And you can find this on the internet. These are just extracts that I've taken from my books in terms of flying discs created for the Germans. Now, if we go back to the 1950s, there were rumors that the Germans were basically creating some advanced weapon systems. And one of them was actually German flying saucers, flying discs, I should clarify. You can see in these documents right here that came out in the 50s and 60s. But in the 25th of March, 1950, this news report came out. It's called Giallo d'Italia, and it's to do with this guy here, Giuseppe Belluzzo, who was a Mussolini politician, technician. He created the hydraulic turbine, quite a lot of things for the Mussolini regime. And he came forward on the 25th of March, 1950, saying that he built a flying disc. Sorry, to clarify, not built. He designed a flying disc for the Germans like it says here, in 1942. And this is the concept of this. Obviously, rotation is the whole idea of the principle of these aircraft. Okay, so this is 25th of March, 1950. Here is Giuseppe Belluzzo. I'm not going to sort of let's go over this really, really quickly, guys. So bear with me. Here's another photograph of him. But today's topic, we're going to be talking about this guy here, Rudolf Schriever, who came out 5 days after Giuseppe Belluzzo's claims in 25th of March 1950 to the 30th of March 1950, where there was a German magazine called Der Spiegel. And this guy here, Rudolf Schriever, said that he actually built the flying discs for the Germans. And here is a concept of the aircraft itself. Now, if we just sort of from this crude drawing right here. So just imagine we've got a central plexiglass cockpit. The man, obviously, in the control, obviously be sat down at this point. You have basically like a fan turbine that basically would rotate in a circular manner. And underneath it, right here where my cursor is, will be jets mounted underneath the blades. And that is the propulsion system. It's going to literally spin this blade around at very, very fast, high speed. And this is what's going to create the aircraft to lift. All right. It seems quite a basic concept, really. And I think some of that the Germans will actually do, because it sounds a bit plausible, unlike the how to build real flying saucers, where it gets a bit technical with tachyon drives and stuff like that. But in a principal concept for an aircraft, I do believe they might have made just a couple of prototypes, because we do have, like I said, Giuseppe Belluzzo, the Italian scientist, and we had the engineer Rudolf Schriever that came out in this publication 5 days after Giuseppe Belluzzo's claims. So yeah, this is what we're talking about here, guys, today. I'm going to show you. Yeah, there has been concepts of this sort of aircraft throughout many, many years. Many, many decades, I should say. And this is more or less like I would say, George Klein's concept. I'm going to show you in a minute. But yeah, you can see these little buggy flying saucers, isn't it? Flying discs, so to speak, with fan jet propellers. I mean, these are fan propelled here. And this was taken from a concept, Joseph Andreas Epp, which I've done an episode on here. Might have been part 4 of German Flying Saucers, where he created the Omega disc in the 50s, eventually worked for the Soviets. This is just the aircraft back in the day. This is Henry Coanda, the Coanda effect, which applies principle into what we're talking about today. That is Ernest Heinrichel. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to show you some extracts from my publications just so you can catch up to speed. So there were 3, well, depends on what publication there is, because there's been many, many different sort of discs that were created. But in principle, there were 3 models created. Here is the first one. And yeah, this is the Schriever aircraft, which is pretty much a color drawing of it. Have I got anything else here? Just sort of, yeah. Well, there was more than 2 scientists. So we had, obviously, this is Dr. Heinrich Richard Mithe, who came out in the 50s in a magazine, Giuseppe Belluzzo. So yeah, there were 4 scientists involved with this alleged program from 1941 to 1945, these flying discs that were created. So on the left here, we have Rudolf Schriever, who we're going to be talking about today. To the right is Dr. Heinrich Richard Mithe. To the bottom of the left is Giuseppe Belluzzo. And the question mark is actually the Riddler. No, I'm only joking. The name is Otto Hobable, and I can't really find any photographs of him whatsoever. So I got the question mark there. So these were the 4 principal scientists involved of this flying disc project. There was another person that came forward in the 1950s, which is actually backed up in one of the documentations I showed you from the FBI in earlier this presentation. There was a guy named George Klein that came forward. He worked for the Air Ministry of Defense for the Third Reich. He was dealing with armaments and stuff like that. And he actually said that the first prototype of a flying disc was actually flown in 1945, which is a bit crude to some reports, because the first test flight was actually in 1943. But nevertheless, I can talk for bloody hours on this. And these are some publications of different types of flying discs that were created at this time period. This is the second model, which is pretty much like the first model. But then we have this. So if you see this on the internet, this is not anti-gravity flying saucer. Nothing to do with anti-gravity flying saucers. This is called the V7. This was a discus-shaped craft, and this was built in 1944 and test flown above the Baltic in, I think it was like the 18th of February of 1945. So this would have been a few months before the war's end. And this traveled at, I can't remember the technical details on this, but this flew very, very high up. And this was, like I said, is a discus-shaped craft, but they got rid of the principle of the propeller fan going around the craft itself. They actually had 12 BMW 12.0 aggregated engines, I believe that's the technical name for it. So it had 12 engines, BMW engines going all the way around, and these were jets, and this is what actually propelled the aircraft itself. Okay, so apparently all these models were scrapped, destroyed. Blueprints were either stolen by the Americans, or allegedly the scientists involved, especially Richard Mithey, apparently worked for the VZ9 program after the war, which was the sort of donut-shaped aircraft, which kind of makes sense why the guy would have been involved in that program, which is basically, I got it here, the VZ9. Where is it? I think I got it here. I must have mentioned it. Yeah, it's here. Oh yeah, that's George Klein, who came forward in 1950s, saying this is the first flying saucer flown in Prague of 1945. I don't want to dwell too much. I want to talk about where is it? Where is it to? Joseph Andreas Epp. Sorry, guys, that's the is it called the Fuck Wolf? Oh yeah, Fuck Wolf, mate. That's what it's called. Where is it? Where are you to? Where's the VZ9 Avro car? There it is. There it is. So Richard Mithey, who apparently, allegedly immigrated to America after the war, was employed by the United States to create this, the VZ9 Avro car program, which is this little buggy car that basically just hovered, didn't it? I've got, there we go. It just bounced and hovered over the tarmac, and that's pretty much what it did. So the idea of the concept of a fan propeller in the middle is not very sufficient as a propulsion system. Like I said, it just hovered. And I do believe in one aspect why this was created, because there was a lot of buzz about flying saucers. And I think some rumors at the time, obviously Giuseppe Belluzzo and George Klein came forward, and also Rudolf Schriever came forward as well in the 1950s. So maybe at the time in ufology, they were saying, well, even the public knew that potentially that the Germans were building some sort of flying saucers for the Germans. So in a way, they produced this crappy aircraft that just basically hovered and just said, look, basically, we're not building these things because we've shown you right here, we can build one and it's just hovering. So it's not flying through the air, zip-zopping around the air and all that. But that is not the Avrocar program, my darling. Oh, no. That's just a cover story, because that's the Avrocar program, which is a completely different concept like that. Okay. So there's a big difference between this little thing, bouncing and hovering, compared to the actual VZ9 aircraft, which is this right here. So yeah, there we go. Look at that. This is taken from my magazines. Yeah. So what are they hiding? This is George Klein, who apparently worked for the Soviets, developing a similar flying disc back in the day. Am I rambling? Because I could just keep on going and going, baby. There we go. So this was built by the Soviets shortly after World War II. Remember that some of the scientists actually went into the hands of the Soviets as well. And apparently this is actual test flight of one of these flying discs. Now, this is not anti-gravity. This is like the VZ9 Avro car, that donut-shaped aircraft. I need to slow my wording down. Sorry. And they made a whole different propulsion system, which I do believe these were mounted jets underneath and on top. And here's one in flight. You can see the buildings at the bottom right there. So I have talked about this on part 4 or 5. It's called The Man That Built a Flying Disc or something like that. Joseph Andreas Epp. And I've talked about him in detail. So this is a blown up picture of attached to Joseph Andreas Epp, still alive letter from Prague of March 1944. Note this is it. Note the air intake rings and chest for steering on the roof of the cabin. Diameter is about 6 meters. Is this the saucer description of the... Oh, yeah, that's the other aircraft that he built. Possible location near Pedimunda. There we go. Oh, if you're saying in Pedimunda, then that'll be in Germany. But it looks nothing like the aircraft that I showed you, the 1, 2, and 3 model, isn't it? So, yeah, I think that's it. have I got anything else I can show here? So that just gives you up to speed of basically what we're going to be talking about today. So I want to move on to, who's this? Tangent. Tangent. Is that right? Hope you're doing well, man. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Looks like a clutch plate on a car. Yeah, actually does. Actually, come to think about it. Yeah, like because I only found that out recently. I googled it. I was like, even YouTubed it. It's like, what does a clutch look like in a vehicle? And I googled it, and it actually kind of looks like that, doesn't it? But nice to see you, man. Welcome on in, and Merry Christmas and Happy Wednesday. So Bob, did I say hello to you? I can't remember. I swear to God. Oh, yeah, John P. Adventures. How's it going, man? Nice to see you. Happy Christmas. And wish the family happy Christmas as well. And Marcus Davis. Did I say hello to you? I can't remember. I was on my tangent now. I was talking too much. Yes, I will do in a minute. Right. Okay. Let's do this. Right. What shall I do first? Well, let's talk about Rudolf Schriever. Yeah, I'll phone do that first. So, oh, actually, no. Before I do that, publications I'm going to show today. Yes, Jenny. Oh, what was this? This might not be your name, but because the YouTube has changed the handles and everything. But oh my God, whole mind. Whole mind. I'm just gonna call you Mind. Nice to see you. Merry Christmas, man. Incredible thumbnail. Oh, thank you, mate. Yeah. I've been experimenting. I hope it caught your attention. But yeah, nice to see you and Merry Christmas and Happy Wednesday. It's nice to see you. Is Stephen Lee? Is what from a Daily Conspiracy podcast? Is that the right? No, I got the wrong person. I'm just going to call you Lee. Sorry, man. I got you confused by another person. But yeah, I know another person called S. Lee as well. I thought it might have been the same person. But no, that's cool. I'm just going to call you Lee, man. Right. So, publications. That was it. So I have two of them. One of them is a copy of Renato Vesco's book, Intercept UFO, but don't. So Intercept UFO, or otherwise known as Intercept UFO, but don't shoot. This came out in the early. Hold on. 1968 talks about German technology, flying apparatus like Foo Fighters being a probe device. I have talked about Foo Fighters before, and I do go into descriptions into this book. That might have been part 7 or something like that. It was called Foo Fighters of World War II. Okay, and I do go into description of this, but this book is actually in this book, which we're going to be talking about today, Man-Made UFOs, 1944 to 1994, 50 Years of Suppression. And I've got a few extracts that I'm going to be showing you today. There's some pretty good photographs in here. Some of it's not on the internet from my recollection anyway. But Renato Vesco's book is a copy in here. It's a big, thick book. It's a pretty good one. So we're showing you a bit of that today. And this came out it must have been the 90s. Yeah, 1994 on that one. And the second book I'm going to show you today, and some extracts of this, is from honestly, I have to admit, no one. Oh, Jammin' Music Man. There you go. I can see you, buddy. I can see you. Nice to see you. And Merry Christmas to you too. And wishing you well, brother. Wishing you well. So if you want to know more about the German flying disc side of the Nazi flying saucer aspect or conspiracy, this book here, Flying Saucers from Nazi Land, the real story of Nazi UFOs, Volume 1. I love that print right there. By Maurizio Verga, I believe his name. This goes into so much detail of news reports, magazines, documentations on the early programs of what we're going to be talking about today. So it's not going to be how Naboo related. I'm going to be talking about these flying discs, but this book here is Maragard. It's pretty good. So I'm going to show an extract of that. So yeah, I hope everything made sense, because once I get talking, I'm like, did that make sense? I bloody hope so. Okie dokie, but nevertheless, where are we to? I need to bring up my thingy-majiggy. There we go. I can do that. Do that. And yeah, honestly, I appreciate everyone being in chat. I know it's Christmas Eve, and spending the time with me. That's awesome. Talk about some Nazi flying saucers. Fantastic. Okie dokie. Right. Let's do this. So what we're going to do is to pour yourself an adult beverage, a cup of coffee or cup of tea. Roll yourself a 420 or a massive joint, because we have about 20 minutes of an extract that I want to talk about. This is in-depth detail of Rudolf Schriever. Okay, so I have the AI voice going to be talking, but at the same time, you can actually see the words on the side here. Like I said, it's around about 15, 20 minutes, but it's going to give you the whole aspect of what this guy, Rudolf Schriever, is all about. All right, and he's the one that made this concept right here of the flying disc, which is pretty much the prime principle of what they were allegedly what the Germans were creating back in the day. Hey, nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. This is the real disclosure we need, whether we have the technology from paperclip or reverse technology. If they didn't release it, it is to keep on fossil fuels as far. Yeah, obviously, a lot of it boils down to profit, mate. This is it. You think that the oil company it's not a multi-million or billion, is trillions. This is it. It's one of the biggest money makers. And like the concept here, that the fact that they're going to ban petrol cars or diesel cars, it's so stupid. It's like the oil companies needs to make a profit. I mean, are we just going to rely on nuclear energy? But I would agree with you on this, is that the fact that, these reverse engineering technologies, if there is such a thing, but alternative technologies of propulsion and energy is definitely out there. In fact, I watched a really good video by the Y-Files talking about these scientists and engineers for the past, like literally over 100 years, creating alternative methods of energy. There was one guy, I can't remember his name. He had a little black box, and he can light light bulbs in his. It's almost like Tesla technology, but there's an actual video footage of it, and this is back in like 1970s. That guy's dead, but it makes you think, compared to obviously the paperclip scientists back in the day. We're talking about Werner von Braun was like the rocket scientist, but I think we're far beyond rocket now. I think every time I see a rocket being launched by SpaceX or NASA, I'm just going, this technology is like 100 years old. I think we're a bit advanced than that. But like I said, as soon as that is like catastrophic disclosure. I mean, when say it's catastrophic disclosure, because there's nothing really to do with extraterrestrial, unless it's extraterrestrial related, like you're saying here, reverse engineered. I just think that science has just come a long way, purely just trying to figure out how to bend gravity, define gravity, but that technology has been hidden from us. So I don't think it's ever going to be known, mate. Thank you. Exactly. Yeah. Space Cow, how's it going, brother? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Happy Christmas, and happy Christmas to MC23 June. Just going to call you June. Lovely thumbnail we have there of some, looks like dahlias. One of my favorite flowers to grow in a garden in the summer. What is this? The UFOs were not Nazi. Well, these are talking about, this is technology here. I should say these are flying discs. I mean, if you're actually identifying this apparatus, it would be an IFO, identified flying object. But I think, as the mythos goes with German flying saucers, is referred to as UFOs, basically. But yeah, it's a complicated subject. But by all means, June, this is my 9th part of German flying saucers, and I've got tons of content going through the timeline and on everything. So, but if you want to spend Christmas looking into it, I've broken this whole conspiracy down. So yeah, it's a bit all over the place, I have to admit. But you come to the right place to know about this subject. That's for sure. So, but nice to see you. Welcome on in, and happy Christmas. No, we'll be doing a live stream on New Year's Eve. Unfortunately, I'm not too sure. I think we've got friends coming round. I know Hidden will be. I might pop on with Hidden for like an hour and also. I'm not too sure, but it's touch and go, mate. But I'll try and squeeze one between Christmas and New Year. All right, but that's on the cards, mate. But I'll let everyone know. But nevertheless, let's chill out, pour yourself an adult beverage, and let's talk about Rudolph Schriever. Well, I'm not. Jenny is. She's the AI voice. I'm going to put myself. No. God, which button do I click? Stuff like that. Something be able to see. Okay. All right. Well, we just do that then. No, I don't like that. Do that. Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Unlike similar yet less structured stories about German projects of advanced circular aircraft, possibly developed into the current flying saucers, the Beluzzo claims had extensive international coverage. 249 all sightings came from a famous engineer, just in the middle of the outbreak of a gigantic global wave of UFO saucers.
It will be coming in Nordics.
These factors helped the news to be launched by newspapers and reprinted worldwide. Flying visitors were a hot topic then.
No, I haven't, Paul. No. I'll bear that in mind. I'll put it on my
and
notes.
Talking about them had a high chance of providing fast and cheap popularity. The idea of a man-made origin was a much more acceptable competitor of the more and more popular desire to think of the saucers as spaceships from outer space. More, a patriotic sense of pride, sometimes next to a revanchism, led the German press to promote local claims of the flying saucers as a powerful invention coming from their own country. The fear of the enemy, namely the Soviet Union, was a powerful argument, often smartly exploited to justify an expansion of military budgets. Nazi Germany was pointed out as the homeland of terrific new advancements in science and technology. The press had been picturing fantastic tales about mind-reading Nazi secret weapons and marvelous gadgets that looked nearly magic or taken from a science fiction magazine. Truth, fantasy, and wishful thinking created a potent mix of highly fascinating ideas about Nazi scientists and what they had achieved. Such statements penetrated popular culture, and since then they have been frequently exploited by movies, comics, and literature to portray the evil Nazi scientists as capable of creating wonders usually known to be science of the good guys. Starting as early as 1947, some inventors, mainly in Germany, claimed a direct involvement in developing advanced flying saucers during the Second World War. There were also people saying they were indirectly associated with them, or even just relating third-hand stories to 50 those persons. So they need to get the burden of the flying saucer origin German origins. We're ready to explain any change for escape and alternative. The US and Western European powers had improved the German inventions and already achieved worldwide supremacy with miracle weapons. German scientists, after the war, had already achieved something similar. Though the US had directly won the war, the German scientists and their new extraordinary science had reached outside flying saucers could come from Russia. The saucers were the same time. They knew that Nazi science had developed hidden secret projects of something similar. A few German people, led by the desire for a better life, were ready to say anything. The Western powers would have loved to hear. They were prepared to unveil the secret of the German-made saucers and help them to build those terrific aircraft against the total air superiority or counterbalance the alleged Soviet one.
Okay, let's just do like a quick recap of this. But basically what it's saying here, that this is the point I was trying to make, that the fact that the Allies knew that the Germans were potentially building something called like a miracles weapon systems. They know they were way ahead in terms of technology, of advancement of aerospace, weaponry, rocket propulsion systems, literally everything. So obviously we're not talking about Haunabu, we're talking about this here, the flying disc concept. And I like I said in the previous parts that I've done on the flying disc aspect, that the fact that the Allies knew they were potentially building some sort of advanced aircraft, but this is a circular aircraft, not necessarily saying flying saucer. They're saying here flying discs. Okay, so that was on the cards, and I think the idea is that obviously there were rumors, but they really went into Peenemünde. But bear in mind, they did actually bomb the crap out of that, like with carpet bombing near the end of the war. But they can still take in these Nazi scientists like they did through Operation Paperclip, and I think her name's Annie Jacobson, who's written a book on Portrait Paperclip. There's another lady in the 80s who actually brought out the story of Operation Paperclip properly, and her name was Linda Hunt. And I don't think people grasp of what scientists, engineers, and even people that worked within the finances, pharmaceutical companies, banking, and even the intelligence agency aspect as well. All these people went into the hands of the Americans. So I don't think we know the true aspect of what was brought forward, especially the ideology of of the Third Reich kind of went into America in some aspects because the same techniques, isn't it? When you look through like 1950s and 60s, and you see these Nazi scientists, and actually even like politicians as well, are hanging around in America, free visas, free range, and these people are evil people, like super evil. I'm going. I should really dedicate an episode on Operation Paperclip. I'll do that because it's immensely fascinating to see what the Americans actually brought forward. Even the British and even Spain, Argentina, Italy, they're all in it, and especially the Soviets as well. So there we go. Let's move on.
Page 102, left side. The claims of German inventors both then and now were likely motivated by a desire for revanchism against the fatal aftermath of the defeat in the Second World War, in addition to being an intelligent way of capitalizing on the mythology of the sinister yet fascinating knowledge of the Nazi German scientist, who had become something like a modern magician. Despite their military defeat, the Germans proved to be technologically superior. Thus, the German genius could be responsible for the flying saucers, the modern marvel that had been reported by many in most countries, describing extraordinary performances. Everyone believed this because of the myths surrounding the Nazi scientists and the secret weapons. The German press probably publicized these rumors out of some sense of revanchism. A few days after the publication of the Giuseppe Belluzzo story, a new personage appeared in Germany to claim an active role in the flying saucer genesis. On March 30, 1950, the popular Der Spiegel news magazine published an article about the flying saucers crowding the world skies. The piece was signed by Rudolf Augsteins, 1923 to 2002, founder of the weekly and one of the most influential German journalists. This could suggest that the topic as a whole was thought to be important. The article also reported that a 27-year-old contractor named Hans Joachim Brucks claimed that towards the end of the war, in the Junker-Ausweich plant at Brandis, near Leipzig, Germany, disc-like experimental aircraft were seen and dubbed Flying Beer Cap or Aphid. Brucks drew his latest model of the craft, supposedly, according to his memory in the air for the photo reporter of the Weser Courier newspaper. The news was a short and bad summary of the article about Brucks, a model aviation enthusiast and a pilot during the war, published by the Weser Courier 3 weeks earlier. Brucks lived near Bremen, not far from the Schriever's home, see page 67. Half of the article, titled Luftfahrt, Unterlassen. Sie fliegen aber DOCH, that is aviation, saucers, but they still fly, was about a man, Rudolf Schriever, 1909 to 1953, claiming a degree in engineering from the Prague University. At that time, he was...
Okay, so this is just a background in Rudolf Schriever life, where he grew up, where he was engineered, and leading him into the German flying disc program.
Still working as a driver for the American Army stationed in Germany, first as a truck driver and then as a self-employed taxi driver for the Americans, Rothkugel, Das Geheimnis der Deutschen Flugscheiben, 2002. Another source reported that he was unemployed, with 5 people in his family, so he was likely prone to exploit any possible way to get money. He worked first as a sailor, then became a pilot, and finally a test pilot for the German firm Ager, although it seems he had no specific technical or scientific background. According to official records, medical examination certificate for flight fitness for Luftwaffe and civil aviation, powered flight, provided by the German Bundesarchiv in 2022, a Schriever's health check registered by the Luftwaffe on July 1, 1943, reported he was working in Prague at the Bämische Meeresmaschinen Fabrik, as chief pilot. His dead father was an engineer. He got married in 1934 to Anna and had 2 sons. Schriever claimed to have been a pilot for 15 years, but then he was declared unfit for piloting aircraft because of his age, although he was in good health. The documents reported he was examined 6 to 8 times in the past, in Ager, Leipzig, Nuremberg, Braunschweig, and Berlin, the last one in June 1941. Page 103, right side, the Der Spiegel article quoted Beluzzo's claims extensively 251, so it was likely written after the Italian news appearance. It do not know whether Schriever showed up after reading about Beluzzo in the German press on March 25 and afterward. It is a possible outcome. Due to our limited understanding of the content of the numerous German newspapers of the time, I do not know if any local newspapers accessible to Schriever carried the Italian news. Later in this chapter, we learned that the man also wrote a letter to a different German magazine published on April 2. It's a close call, but it could be possible that Schriever told his story after reading Beluzzo's. How the reporter tracked down this individual and connected with Der Spiegel is unclear. Anyway, I'm just trying to piece together what happened based on the sketchy reporting of the time. Schriever said he had been collecting news about the flying saucers because he thought they were the development of his original ideas and project. In 1942, he got the idea of developing a vertical takeoff jet-powered helicopter, theoretically flying at Mach 4 with a range of 6,000 kilometers. Those claimed performances were definitely well beyond the technology of the time. 1 year later, he introduced his plan and data to a Czech engineer in Prague. The revolutionary aircraft had to be made of light metal, with 3 main sections, a flattened sphere in the upper part, including the cockpit and the control instruments, a lower 3.6 meters large and 3.2 meter high portion, a 14.40 meter large ring with rotating blades. Below the ring were 3 jet engines specially designed for such an aircraft and fuel tanks. The blades were supposed to rotate at 1,800 revolutions per minute, providing an astounding ascent speed of 100 meters per second. The high rotation rate of the jet engines would have given the appearance of a fiery disk in the sky, a good element capable of matching the descriptions of many witnesses of flying saucer sightings. The lower portion had a 360 degrees rotation and hosted the jet engines for level flight. Schriever claimed
Sorry, I'm an idiot. I turned the bloody mic off and it. Sorry, I just went at 420. Yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is, I'll repeat myself again. So I don't think this part actually is mentioned in the the fact that because the blades were spinning at such a high velocity, like it was saying in the measurements here, the fact that this will cause the aircraft to actually levitate. And purely because of this rotation, the aircraft will actually vibrate at such a rate, it will actually kind of like fall apart. And I don't think it's actually brought up in this page here, actually anything that I'm going to show at the moment. So I think it's actually worth bringing it up because that's why they moved away from the first model. And the second model was more or less on the same principle. But the third model, which was the VZ9, the V7 aircraft, which was that discus-shaped aircraft that had the jets going around it. That's where they scrapped that principle of the actual spinning blades. I hope that made any sense. Aztec, New Mexico crash. Yeah, believe it or not, I have the original book. Look, right here. That book here on the Aztec crash is about £500. Actually, I opened it. I did a video on it on Aztec crash, which is actually the first crash that was publicly known before Roswell, I believe. Let's bring it back up again. But yeah, I thought I was just mentioning that the fact that they scrapped the idea because the rotation of the blades was actually causing so much vibration to the aircraft that he eventually just ditched the idea.
his blueprints were ready to be delivered to the aviation ministry, but the Russians advanced to Prague, and he fled on April 15, 1945. He reached the house of his parents-in-law in Bremerhaven-Lehe, Germany, where he reproduced a scale model of his supersonic aircraft. Models and plans were later stolen on August 4, 1948. Schriever suggested that the engineer in Prague had developed his idea for another country after the war, hinting at the Soviet Union. For the first time, Prague became one of the critical places of the German saucer stories, and the presence of Schriever was later expanded and distorted several times throughout the myth's evolution. The same happened to a few other towns, for example, Stettin, now Szczecin, in Poland, first quoted by the inventors as the epicenter of the saucer development. Then, both became exotic sites for later inventors or wilder and wilder stories. General Hans Kammler, the mighty Nazi officer in charge of developing most secret weapons during the last months of the Second World War, was in Prague in early May, just before his alleged suicide or surrender to the Americans. Reuters, 2019. Such a coincidence was an excellent match for some personages of the growing myth and Page 104, left side, Der Spiegel, March 31, 1950. Scientists from here he let loose of 9 of the flying saucers.
Yeah, I think it actually skipped this bit here. So it's saying, so if Carbonell was there, it was definitely because of the presence of the flying saucer development, but also of a secret atom bomb project, according to other stories. It is worthwhile that the quote fully of the, I screwed that bit up there, the section relevant to us from the March 30th, 1950 Der Spiegel story, because it is one of the most crucial moments in developing the German saucer mythology. I think that's right. Sorry, I didn't do the page right. I don't think AI picked it up. Sorry, guys. But yeah, we're back on this bit here. Sorry if it's not blown up. I have to, bear with it. Sorry. I did the best I could.
Flight captain, now retired from service, carefully gathers all reports concerning the flying saucers. I have thought about my apparatus, said the 40-year-old, the flying disc I constructed. The idea dates back to the year 1941. At that time, I was a chief pilot in a...
Okay, sorry, I should have mentioned this, that the fact this is an actual extract from an interview with Rudolf Schriever. Okay, so he's going through the background of his time working with the Nazis to build these flying discs.
Reported Schriever. As he observed children playing, the level rotating propeller of a spiral-formed spinning top metal surface shooting through the air gave him a sudden idea. So as this child's propeller rises, it could also be with a round disc with the corresponding construction. Schriever sat on the first sketches. After a year, he entrusted a Czechoslovakian engineer in Prague with the statistical calculations and detailed drawings. The people knew nothing at that time on that which they worked. His flight metal flying disc consisted of 3 parts. The top nacelle section that resembled a flattened sphere with the command stand and the control instruments, the revolving lower nacelle section, and the rotating blade-leafed disc, which, to the apparatus, is as with a helicopter, gives it lift. The blade-leaf disc of Schriever's small circular craft was to have a diameter of 14.40 meters. On the underside of the disc were 3 propulsion jets especially built, hollow struts installed, which contained the fuel. The jets induced the disc to rotate through the combustion of the gases, which produced an impression of a fiery disc. The performance of 650 to 1,800 revolutions per minute could be reached, corresponding with a lift of 100 meters per second. Schriever compared such a figure with a conventional fighter aircraft, raising 25 meters per second at its highest. The 3-meter-long leafed vanes were adjustable as with a standard propeller, so they could be put in takeoff or glide position and the elevator replaced. As soon as the disc worked, it replaced the wing, the rear rotor and the command nacelle in a particular arrangement, which was provided with a compensating servation. In this sense, Schriever was hindered that the nacelle was brought an opposing torque through disc rotation. The lower nacelle was rotatable throughout 360 degrees and contained 2 propulsion jets as horizontal drive means. Should the pilot want to change course, he only needs to turn the lower nacelle in the corresponding direction. The diameter of the nacelle amounted to, according to Schriever's designs, 3.60 meters, the height of 3.20 meters. Completed calculations were based on propulsion jets developed for the Me-262, with which the flying disc, weighing 3 tons, should achieve a horizontal speed of 4,200 km per hour. According to Schriever's calculations, its range amounted to around 6,000 km. As to the advantages of its builder, Schriever counts vertical takeoff and landing possibilities, low air resistance, no formation of edge vortices, enables high speeds, superior climbing ability. The apparatus can remain.
I don't think this AI can actually pinpoint full stops or commas, so it just continues going down the line. Go back to your question, man. This is all written in German, so I'm actually trying to find the original magazine Der Spiegel where Rudolf Schriever, right here, you can see him, and his concept actually came from. So I'm always looking through like eBay and stuff like that. I've actually had no luck. So I do believe it's all in German because it came out in a German magazine in like the 25th of March 1950. So yeah, well, the search continues. So where are we to? Okay, so we're on this one here.
In one spot for hours or sink millimeter by millimeter, until April 15, 1945, nope. Schriever worked on his designs.
That one.
The calculations were completed. Schriever wanted to serve his foundation, Hermann Göring RLM. But before that, the Russians came. Schriever packed up and left. Page 105, right side, he furnished an inventor's workshop in the garden house of his parents-in-law in Bremerhaven-Lehigh. On August 4, 1948, the workshop was broken. Schriever's flying disc designs and his small model were never found again. The document of the Bremerhaven Criminal Police concerning this matter closed with the observation, quash proceedings. Culprit unknown, escaped. Since then, Schriever has communicated with an agent of a foreign power concerning those designs and for U.S. Army. If I had the opportunity, I would build and fly such a thing immediately. Because the flying disc or flying saucer is in no way child's play. They have great importance for the development of aviation. Rudolf Schriever is convinced today that the Prague engineer has reconstructed his flying disc for another power. For him, there is no secret of the flying saucers.
This bit here.
The article was enriched by a couple of pictures, soon becoming a reference for the so-called UFO Nazi legends. The first one portrayed Schriever himself, well-dressed, with a pen pointing to what looks like a sketch of the aircraft, suggesting that a Der Spiegel journalist personally interviewed him. At the same time, a photographer took a picture of the inventor. I don't know where the interview occurred, but we can speculate, based on the tablecloth and the furnishing behind the man, that it was a house, possibly Schriever's. The fundamental question is how Schriever got in touch with the magazine staff. On the other hand, the possible why could be pretty straightforward. He wanted to tell his story and exploit the uproar produced by the prevalent topic of the flying saucers. Mainly thanks to Beluzzo, the saucers had been moved to an earthly context based on the invention of a single man, although Beluzzo didn't say he was the inventor. Joining that context was easy and had become convenient. A revolutionary aircraft was the ultimate weapon, and any power certainly wanted it. They had no idea what the flying saucers were. Still, the suspect they could be a secret development of advanced German science seized and perfected by other powers was strong enough to consider any offer for acquiring the same technology. Improving the own lifestyle in post-war Germany was an excellent reason to try anything. Offering Americans what they suspected could be true, leveraging the mystery and the complete uncertainty of the saucer stories, could have been a good chance for Schriever. You wonder if Schriever could have gotten inspiration from the news about Giuseppe Beluzzo. The Der Spiegel magazine was dated March 30th, but I do not know when it was available.
All right, okay, so my bad. The 25th of March 1950 was actually Giuseppe Beluzzo's claim that came forward in that newspaper called Giornale d'Italia, and then 5 days after that, on the 30th of March 1950, was Rudolf Schriever's article here in the Der Spiegel magazine. Just for clarification, okay.
On the newsstands or when the reporter interviewed Schriever. In early March, articles about the claims of former Crown Prince Otto of Habsburg, the flying saucers were secret Soviet weapons developed after Nazi projects, had been published by some Austrian newspapers and likely by German ones. At least some German newspapers reported WW2’s before Der Spiegel came out, and I guess more did. The American military newspaper Star and Stripes 253 published the WW2 news, too. You can speculate that Schriever, working as a driver for the American Army, could have had access to it. But this is pure speculation only. A high-resolution scan of the poor-quality picture from the magazine did not help to get many more details. It shows a crude aircraft drawing, where you can barely see the dome, maybe with a possible pilot inside, jet engines at the enlarged.
Okay. All right. Sorry, guys, if there's a bit of an earache. But I think this is quite important information to go through, because I don't think a lot of YouTube channels actually gone in depth in terms of what Rudolf Schriever was all about, and you're getting the gist of his story here. So there are quite a lot of details he's gone into on what actually made this aircraft flew. The more the nitty-gritty details, basically the technical details, so to speak. Whether or not it's actually true or not. But again, we have two claims here. We have Giuseppe Belluzzo, came out 25th of March 1950, and then 5 days after that, Rudolf Schriever, who I believe was living in America at the time, might be wrong. How did he? Because apparently he was working for the army as a truck driver, allegedly. But how did he know about the stories? Did they find out about Giuseppe Belluzzo's claims in an Italian newspaper in America? This is it. It's like, how did the correlation between the two came about? So yeah, it's all up in the air, really. But again, he goes into details which I find quite interesting. So yep, we'll continue.
And enhancement of the sketch from Schriever, from Der Spiegel, March 30th, 1950. What could be a blade on the left?
Hey, Mac, nice to see you.
The right upper of the sketch seems
Happy
drawn
Wednesday.
with a thicker line. In the lower part of the paper sheet, there seems to be a section of information and data. A closer look at the whole photograph leads to thinking of a sort of blueprint introduced to the interviewer. The technical drawing skills of Schriever, who was sometimes presented as an engineer, seemed pretty poor. An artist from the same magazine later reinterpreted the original sketch after Schriever's claims. It was a detailed artwork of the strange-looking aircraft, with several captions explaining the device's main features. Although the rotating blades all around the central cockpit were something entirely new, the overall appearance of Schriever's Flugreisel was old and known in the flying saucer imagery since 1947, or even before, because a few illustrations from the early 1940s, 1930s, and 1920s showed something similar or very similar. The image of a flat disc with a transparent dome in the upper part and another canopy in the lower one was published several times in newspapers and magazines before the end of March 1950. Even jet engines along the disc circumference, or below or above, were depicted before Schriever. For example, in late 1947, the back cover of a science fiction pulp magazine Asterisk showed the planned drawing of a round flying machine, with a diameter ranging from 15 to 76 meters across, having a central sphere hosting the control chamber. Along the circumference, 9 jet engines were grouped in 4 clusters of 3 each. On April 2, the German weekly Heim und Welt published an article based on a letter sent by Schriever himself. We don't know if such a letter was sent before, after, or at the same time as the Der Spiegel interview, namely when the man personally met the journalist. Flugkapitän and engineer Rudolf Schriever now lives in Bremerhaven.
Okay, this is in regards of this article right here. So you can see where the concept came from, this idea of like a spinning top, this like gyroscope type craft here. And this was from April the 21st. So obviously that was a month after Rudolf Schriever and Giuseppe Belluzzo's claims. I mean, we were specifically talking about Rudolf Schriever here in terms of his concept. But again, I think it's just showing examples that this flying saucer concept, like especially this rotation, can go back to right here from November 1947 from this Fantastic Adventures magazine. So I think it's worth bringing up. This is what I mean. What I liked about this book, it goes into specific details to say, right, okay, we've got this concept, but you might want to look about this article that came out 10 years ago in regards of flying saucers. So, but we'll continue this article right here.
Years ago, he developed a flying disc whose peculiarity is illustrated in the above pictures. The bottom one shows a flying disc in position, ready to take off. In the center is a spherical cabin.
Oh, just quickly. If you want to know the details of the anti-gravity side of the German flying saucers, check out How Naboo Real. I think it's part probably 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I got 4 parts on that one, and they break down the whole thing, mate, in terms of what this technology is, the anti-gravity side. But we'll get to it near the end. But let's get this out of the way first, and we'll do a bit of a recap, mate.
Diameter of 3.60 meters, the propulsion nacelle with impulse jets is installed below it. In the middle of the cabin globe is a carrier insertion, in which the blade, appearing here as an open shell, rotates. The diameter is 14.40 meters. Numerous small jets produce a rotation of up to 1,800 rounds per minute, enabling vertical climbs up to 100 meters per second. This rotation appears as a fiery circle after the takeoff in the middle picture. The top image illustrates the horizontal, forward movement through the activity of the large impulse jets underneath the cabin globe. These jets can swivel 360 degrees and operate the steering. The horizontal speed is up to 4,200 kilometers per hour. Concerning the flying saucers, the designer has written further, so-called flying saucers are not extraterrestrial aircraft.
I'll put it in chat, mate. I'll put like the link in the description for the book, what it's called. And have a good read. It's honestly, I think it's fantastic to show the early concepts and all the nitty-gritty details that a lot of people gloss over in ufology. But yeah, very, very great book, I have to admit. I'll put it in the description
Contrary,
now.
they are man-made flying apparatus. A still unidentified nation travels with these seemingly ghostly vessels. Research flights are crewless, using a remote control. According to all accounts, the speed of this flying circle, as I call these vessels, is almost unthinkable to our comprehension. The power of takeoff always leaves behind a slight comet-like trail that is repeatedly seen, but the visible fiery ball of disk is also a consequence of the type of takeoff. Besides my activity as a civil phlegmaton, I worked on the flying disc from 1941 to April 1945, finishing all the construction diagrams for this disc. It was only for the actual circumstances to blame that the start of construction was not achieved. The drawings were rather crude and far from the more carefully designed illustrations enriching the Der Spiegel article. However, they looked pretty similar, for example, the grid covering the dome, later found in some saucer iconography. They were likely quick artwork by a less talented artist. However, we don't know if they were based on a personal interpretation of the inventor's tale or a remake of Schriever's even cruder sketch, for example.
Right, there you go, man. That's the link for the book in Amazon. It's called Flying Saucers, Nancy... hold on. I said that wrong. Hold on. Flying Saucers from Nazi Land, Volume 1. All right, but there it is there, mate. Definitely recommend it, mate. Definitely.
The one he drew in one of the Der Spiegel photos. The aircraft was designed in a proper context. Behind it, there were the hangars of an airbase, likely the Prague airport mentioned in the story, and people looking at the aircraft in flight. The first drawing, the saucer in flight with 2 jets, was reprinted by an Italian newspaper *** a few weeks later, inside an article devoted to flying saucers from Mars and interplanetary travels. The drawing was larger than the German magazines, showing a mountain landscape below the aircraft.
Always happy to help.
The original artwork was likely released to the press for enriching space-related articles. An Australian newspaper *** published a larger version of the third design one day earlier. Guards or operators around the aircraft were more evident, and another flying top was flying high in the sky on the left. A Swedish newspaper and a popular French science magazine *** also published a similar drawing a few years later. The nearly contemporary publication of those 2 articles could signal a different press story about Schriever, enriched by those designs, and circulated through the channels of a press agency sourcing the news from the less-known Heim und die Welt article. Schriever was interviewed by phone by the International News Service, possibly just after the Der Spiegel publication. And many international newspapers then used the INS Press Dispatch. Several American dailies published the intriguing story blending two fascinating mysteries: the weird flying saucers, which were again extremely popular in the early spring of 1950, and the
Hey, how's it
equally
going, man?
mysterious German wonder weapons.
Carl Wave X. I think that's how you said it. Say your name. But yeah, happy Wednesday. Merry Christmas, man. Welcome on in.
Thanks to many wild rumors that appeared throughout the previous 5 years, those legendary weapons had been becoming something like magic devices capable of science fiction performances. Starting April 2nd, the U.S. newspapers 230 devoted even front-page space and sometimes entire articles about the artwork depicting the Schriever's supersonic helicopter design. They reprinted the story, dated April 1st, and dispatched by the International News Service, claiming an exclusive phone interview with Rudolf Schriever by staff correspondent Tom Agostin 231. The German guy was wrongly introduced as an aircraft designer who was confident the flying saucers were not pipe dreams or Mars visitors. He said, "These publicized crafts assuredly are United States experimental crafts and perhaps those of other nations as well." According to him, advanced artificial aircraft
There
were
we go.
already flying in the skies and could even have been manufactured by the USA.
There we go.
Of course, he offered to build a workable prototype for the American military within 6 or 9 months. However, the United States Air Force authorities did not comment on his statements. Schriever's story was likely seen as a great chance to deal with the highly popular flying saucer topic and offer an excellent alternative to the fast-growing idea that the aerial contraptions reported in the American skies were Martian spaceships. Schriever combined this American press goal with his desire to make his story more interesting and worthy of consideration from the American authorities. Besides the contradiction, the reason for his offer was pretty evident. The blueprints of his flying top were stolen when Germany collapsed, but duplicates were handed for safekeeping to his colleagues in Prague. They were likely in Soviet hands then, so the flying saucers seen by many people worldwide were possibly advanced secret weapons from the Russian enemy. This American interview added a few new details. The top gondola above the encircling cartwheel and the lower gondola below could rotate. The man estimated that each gondola would weigh about 3 tons and be nearly 4 meters wide and under 3.5 meters tall. Schriever confirmed he didn't build his Saturn-like aircraft. He just designed it. His story changed 2 years later. As a whole, Schriever's story provides quite sketchy press information only. Unlike other alleged characters of the Nazi UFO legends, he was a real personage, and his presence in the German military during the Second World War, and in Prague, at least in July 1943, has been confirmed by the German Bundesarchiv. Still, we do not know nearly anything about him, and no reasonable evaluation of his claims is possible. It sounds strange that the genial inventor of such an advanced and revolutionary aircraft, capable of skipping the vulnerable airport runways, was unnoticed by the Allies. Several research teams from the United States, Great Britain, Russia, and France combed the German territories in search of scientists, technicians, patents, and installations in any industrial field, collecting a booty beyond imagination. Oregon.
So I just noticed that I was reading through it, collecting a booty beyond imagination. What the bloody hell is that? Is that a typo? I never heard that. Collecting a booty beyond imagination. Awesome. Like in the word in
2019. Other than in German and American newspapers, articles about Schriever were rare in the press. Many Italian dailies were generous in reporting news about flying saucers, German secret weapons, or even the new hybridization between them, namely the German saucers.
Precisely.
As far as we know,
Point.
only a few Italian papers 232 mentioned Schriever while extensively introducing the news on their front page about the American radio commentator Henry J. Taylor, 1902 to 1984, claiming the flying saucers were two types of U.S. secret weapons. It was told that a top American officer stationed in Germany reported that a military Allied Security Commission was ready to review the project from a German former aviation engineer named Rudolf Schriever, offering to build a flying saucer. The officer remarked that Germans could build such contraptions after getting permission from the Allied Commission. Belgian 233 and French 234 dailies published the news nearly 2 weeks later, while a Spanish paper did it in January 195, 1235. The Belgian newspaper reprinted information and the sketch from what had been published by the American newspapers some days earlier. At the same time, the French one quoted the German monthly magazine Natur und Technik, previously mentioned by some Dutch newspapers 236 reporting the original Schriever's claims published by Der Spiegel. The magazine's article would have published the study of a German engineer who tried to fly a flying saucer without a passenger. It was a ring containing the fuel, fitted on its periphery with a dozen
Oh, I've had octopus before. I don't mind it, actually. I think I had it on some, like, succulent Chinese meal. Remember that clip? Succulent Chinese meal. Yeah, I don't mind it, as long as a bit of some, like, soy sauce of it. Maybe we're talking about food again. Don't get me started. Otherwise, I'll spend the next hour talking about food.
adjusters arranged like paddle wheels and used for jet propulsion.
Did you like it, though?
As for the direction, a central rocket held in the same course by a gyroscope while the apparatus spun around at full speed steadily fixed at 237. The feature of the 12 jet engines powering a circular aircraft had been around since late 1947.
Nice.
It was a sort of trademark for the V-7 that became the paradigm for the purported German flying saucers of the Second World War. A month and a half after the original Der Spiegel article, a German newspaper 238
Oh God, okay, we're coming near the end, guys. I do appreciate it, but I think this is really quite important to know the proper details of Rudolf Schliever's claims. There's a good point, actually. I'm gonna YouTube your channel name. Does that make any sense? I just said because I want to find out what your name actually. Could you put your name in chat purely because YouTube puts a different handle and I can't. Antonino, is that right? Antonino, yeah. Do you know what? Back when I was a kid, we had a Sicilian family used to live at the road. Used to. Yeah. This was back in the 90s. Used to play with the kids and all that up in the street. And there was an Italian family or Sicilian family called, I can't remember what they're called, but one of them was called, the brother was called Antonino. I remember we used to play back when we were kids, and yeah, it's Antonino and all that. Sorry, man, I thought 20 quite hard before the show, but yeah, I think that's your name, Antonino. But you make a very good point there in terms of the Soviet Union. If they actually had that technology, why didn't they use it during the Cold War? And it's the same principle. I say if they did actually master this, the German side, if they mastered it, why didn't they use it? And the same principle is for the anti-gravity side. These Hannibal real flying saucers. Like I said in my previous parts of German flying saucers, I think part 8 and 9, part 7 and 8, I was talking about if this technology was perfected, anti-gravity was perfected by the Germans in 1938, during the time of the war's beginning, why didn't they use it? Why did they use that technology? No, but then you make a very good point there. Why didn't they use it for leverage for the Cold War? Very, very good point.
Reported Schriever's claims again, with a few different details about his strange-looking aircraft's top speed and autonomy. The sketch presented 3 artworks explaining the technical features of possible man-made flying saucers. It was an article out of a series published in the previous days.
Oh, mate.
2 of those articles were
nice.
clearly inspired by the large sketch of the Schriever helicopter.
Hell yeah.
Although the article didn't quote him, the depicted saucer and the large blades around it were strikingly similar to the drawing associated with the German inventor.
I'm hungry now. Oh, God damn it. We're talking about octopus, omelets, sausages. Oh, God. Got the munchies now. Oh, dear. But anyway, guys, look, we'll still continue, but we'll get more pictures to show you what the concept of this aircraft actually was. So I guess a gyroscope in that respect.
The late French scholar Joseph Alterac stated that this aircraft type was widely discussed before the Schriever saucer appeared in the press. Alterac, 1997. As proof, he cited a French aviation monthly 239 publishing an article titled "Does a Helicopter Have a Future?" by E. Harry in a World, the concepts described by Schriever or, 10 days later, by Schmidtke, see page 140, could have been inspired by post-war articles about the works of Baron Friedrich List von Doppelhoff. As Alterac emphasized, those works did not make absurd claims to exceed the speed of sound, like the Schriever device and his later emulators. They offered an entirely conventional external appearance without evoking the shape of a saucer in any way. However, Doppelhoff was quoted in the Austrian press in 1950 as the man who had designed the precursors of modern-day flying saucers. See page
Careful.
186. According to French science popularizer Albert Ducrocq, L'Age de la Reaction, 1951, German aeronautical engineer Alexander Lippisch, 1894 to 1976, developed, in
All right, Pagani Productions, thanks for being in chat. I do appreciate you being here on Christmas Eve, spending a bit of time with me. We're nearly coming to the end of this AI voice. I know it gets a bit tedious, but nevertheless, thanks for being here, and a very Merry Christmas to you. You're always here in chat. You always participate in great conversation. And yeah, wishing you and the family well for tomorrow. And yeah, thanks for being in chat as always. And yeah. Oh no, StreamYard's doing that thing again. Okay. Oh, it works. Oh, thank God for that. Yes. But have a good one, man. And I shall see you. If not, I'll see you Saturday. If not, have a happy new year as well. All right. So take care of yourself, man. All right, that's all right. Because Nathan, imagine me reading this. And I was like, sod that. But I'm actually going to buy an actual proper AI voice AI app so I can actually create something that's a bit more decent. I think one's got Snoop Dogg in it. Yeah. Oh yeah, Merry Christmas, man. And have a good one. I'll see you soon. Yeah, I know. This is it. I know. Is it a bit tedious, I understand. But we'll just barrel through just two more pages. Yeah, we're coming to the end, like literally 6 minutes.
1943, the idea of centrifugal reaction disks. It was a question, he explained, of equipping flying disks with peripheral reactors, the speed of movement on the circumference being close to the gas ejection speed. So,
and Antonino, yeah, thanks for being in chat, brother. Yeah, much appreciated. And yeah, go check out that book. I definitely recommend it, man. If you want to know more information on this era of German flying discs related to the Germans. So yeah, and happy Christmas and a happy New Year to you. And hopefully catch you next time. All right, man. Take care of yourself.
That the engines could work close to their maximum efficiency. Moreover, the technician imagined automatically obtaining the air compression thanks to the centrifugal force developed by the rotation.
Oh, thanks,
Ducrocq's
man.
disc shared some analogies with the simple design claimed by Schriever. He didn't provide any source about the alleged Lippisch idea. He used it for a long technical dissertation about the possible production of fast-rotating disks, similar to what was described by the witnesses of the many sightings of flying saucers worldwide.
Oh, thank you, John. It's much appreciated.
Suggestions for man-made jet-powered circular aircraft have already been made by several aviation magazines and experts since 1947. Schriever was one of the characters in the science fiction novels Genesis, published in 1980, and Phoenix, 1995, by the British author William Allen Harbison, born in 1941, then becoming a part of a 5-volume Project Saucer series, which includes sequentially Inception, Phoenix, Genesis, Millennium, and Resurrection. In the lengthy appendix to the 1980 book, Harbison offered a pretty extended coverage of the Nazi UFO stories to that date, featuring a lot of mistakes and distortions, suggesting that his fiction was somehow based on actual facts. In 1995, Harbison published a book devoted to the purported German disk projects, Harbison, Project UFO, The Case for Man-Made Flying Saucers, 1995, claiming that UFOs were advanced aircraft made in remote Nazi bases in Antarctica. Later,
yeah, that's another concept that started to come out, the Antarctica story as well. That's a bit more later on in the game, and we talked about that in the Antarctica episode that I did. Yeah, that's where the story started to begin, in that Antarctica region.
Harbison, The Wilson Papers, Genesis of the World's Most Fearsome Secret, 2017, Harbison published a fiction book about the story of John Wilson, the evil genius at the core of the Project Saucer series and the real father of the UFOs. Schriever is one of the key personages of the Nazi UFO mythology, or even the main one. He has been celebrated in many fiction novels, including the first two, Landing W, 1971, Landing W, 1980, by Wilhelm Landing, the German occultists believed to be the ancient origin of the Aryan race. Schriever has also been included and exploited in the storytelling of other personages. For example, in 1994, the Italian journalist Luigi Romersa, well known for his highly controversial claims, see page 240, said Schriever was still living in Bremen, likely because the article was a reprint of a 1952 one, and he met him during the Second World War. The man died in 1953. The original Schriever sketch turned into a more detailed drawing, published by Der Spiegel magazine first and then by several American newspapers. It was the first overtly technical illustration of a supposed German flying saucer. It was mainly based on the popular concept of the day of a domed saucer, so most of the work was already available. Some details, like the rotating blades, were added to make it a sort of real aircraft, although weird. The Schriever design has been revamped and popularized thanks to the growing popularity of the Nazi UFO myth, the expansion of the model kit market, the availability of computer graphics software, and the internet communication power. Besides a certain number of resin model kits, sometimes relatively crude because of shapes based on poor information, the web offers many computer-generated artworks.
Yeah, that's quite interesting aspect that actually brought up, because the fact there's one thing I've noticed when you look through the timeline of German flying saucers. I deal with publications that predate the internet. I've shown it through all the parts that I've done on this subject. And I noticed once the internet started to come out, the information gets twisted. And in one aspect is saying right here that the fact that computer generated models can be created at a time, which tends to add a bit more specific details to the craft itself. Not necessarily saying that this is the actual true design of Rudolf Schriever's, I can't pronounce his bloody surname, Rudolf Schriever flying disc itself. This is it. It's again, it's just crude concepts. But should we take it as gospel truth? But I guess like the whole principle, I mean, if you look at the cursor, like that one there, that is pretty much an all-round design of what this aircraft actually looked like. So again, over the years, especially when it comes to the internet, things get twisted. And I mean, especially now with AI, I mean, just look at my thumbnail, for Christ's sake. Very prime example, you know what I mean? So I think we're coming up to the end now. Yes, that's it. Oh my God, we're done. Right. So Schriever disc artwork, blah, 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 blah. So yes, this was brought up again in 1997 and features some music to go along with it, which was alternative electronic music. Don't know what the band's called, but this is from the first cassette tape. What is this? So Schriever's disc, the artwork of American artist Jim Nichols, has also been used for the cover of a tape cassette first of 1997 and then a CD of 2003 featuring alternative electronic music. Each track was named after themes related to German wonder weapons and the Nazi survivals, including the V7. Oh, that's interesting. Oh yeah, I got title names there. Okay. Oh, dare I play this? Well, I fancy a laugh, to be honest with you. It might be good music. What's it called? Other German underground productions. What is it called? I want to know what the name of the band is. Oh, there it is. There. Hold on. I fancy a laugh. Do you fancy a laugh, guys? I do. It might be good. Like I said, it might be good music. What's that? G-N-E. G-N-G-E-N. Thule. Always got the word Thule in it. Tool, as one would say. Okay. Let's do this. Let's see if we can find this music. I'm guessing it could kind of sounds like Rammstein sort of music. I'm just guessing if I'd be able to find it. Let's have a look. Ooh, I don't know. No, I don't think I can find it. There's a band called Thule, but that name itself, no. Okay, well, let's put it in Google. Music. Let's have a look. I'm just really curious. Oh, I think I got it. Yes, I think I got it. Okay. Can I play any of it? This is it. Oh, they got a YouTube channel. Brilliant. Oh, yes. Okay, so this is going to be this here. So what is it saying? Let's just read it one more time. So what I'm about to show you is this right here, this album, which is to do with German flying discs. Got the V7. This is the whole entire album. If you fancy a laugh, well, not really a laugh. What should I say a laugh for? I'll put it in the description right here. Boom. Rave time. I think so, buddy. Right, let's do this. Let's bring it up. Let's bring this up. And this might be, hopefully no copyright. So this is called SRP. Godzen Grien Thula. When, see that name there? That's the tallest, the Thule Society. But the German pronunciation of that is Tula. Okay, the Tula Society. People say the Thule or Thule, but it's Tula. That's the German pronunciation of it. Sorry for being technical. Let's have a listen. Oh God, bloody hell. Yeah, copyright free music, entertainment purposes only, and yeah. Okay. Okay, right. I will pause it now and then. This is the whole album. I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? I'm gonna pause it now and then. Okay, let's skip to the tracks. This, it sounds like an early version. No, it's not, because that's year 2000. Okay, I was gonna say like Silent Hill, like Silent Hill 2. It's got that sort of atmosphere to it. It's got that ambient sound. Let's skip ahead. Let's see different tracks. Okay, so what about this one here? I am a music buff. I'm just really interested to see this music. I think it's very dark. What did you just say there, Paul? Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, that's like dark electronic music, isn't it? Like ambient, depressing music. Okay, skip ahead to this one. Silent Hill. This is so Silent Hill. Yeah. Okay. That's just weird. Industrial music. Yeah, that's it. I've got the tags here. Hardcore punk, new wave, post-punk, experimental music, cassette cultures. Noise. Yeah, no shit. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, that's a bit weird, isn't it? Chat, I don't know what to think about that. Not exactly Christmas music, isn't it? What is this, Frank Zappa of Real Society? Yeah, hey, Moody, how's it going, man? Mate, this is supposed to do with the German flying disc aspect. This band here, we were just looking through this publication, and this band came up as the last bit, and I'm like, what the fuck's this? And I literally just found it on YouTube. I was really curious just to see what it actually sounds like. And it kind of sounds like a blend of like Silent Hill and a horror movie I can't think of. Evil Dead, maybe? It's weird. It's something I wouldn't really listen to be honest with you. Pink Floyd for real. Yeah, it is like a horror movie. Yeah.
Steampunk rock. Yeah, I guess so. No idea, mate. I'll keep that on record. I'll see if I can pull up any more albums on that. But yeah, what bizarre album. It's like industrial dark electronic music. Just to finish off, let's go to that one there. Oh, that's a bit better. Okay, that would do. Okay. How bizarre. Okie dokie. Right. Yeah, I don't know, man. That sounds like a Debbie Downer sort of music. I wouldn't want to listen to that after I've 420'd. That ruins my buzz, man. Do you know what I mean? God knows. Yeah, I'm not surprised bloody 20 people left. I'm not surprised. Right. So yeah, what I just showed you there was from an extract from this book. I highly recommend it. If you want a Christmas present, you can pick it up for about 30 quid. Flying Saucers from Naziland, the real story of Nazi UFOs, Volume 1. And like I said, it goes into a lot of detail that gets glossed over. Every time I'm changing my mic, by the way, because I keep muting myself. But it goes into a lot of detail on this subject, especially Rudolf Schriever, Otto Hobbermoor, Giuseppe Belluzzo, and Dr. Heinrich Richard Muthey as well. So yeah, I know it gets a bit tedious when. Oh, sorry about that. I know it gets a bit tedious with the AI voice, but I'm going to change things up a little bit. I'm going to change things up. But yeah, this is. I've got anything else. I think I do. Font geek. Yeah. Yeah, it's very standard, mate, isn't it? All right. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. What should I do? Let's bring this up here. I think my missus is she's still streaming. I can hear her screaming at the computer screen, by the way. I bloody hope so as well. She's a Twitch streamer, so I know she's playing bloody Fortnite or something like that. Right, okay. Just to sort of carry on with the German flying saucer aspect for the time being, we're going to go back to this book right here. Let's bring it up a bit bigger so we can see. Man-made UFOs from 1944 to 1994. 50 years of suppression. You can buy this on eBay. It's pretty cheap. And it's by Renato Vesco, the guy who written a book called Intercept UFOs But Don't Shoot. That came out in 1968, talking about German technology, especially Foo Fighter technology being as probes. And you can go check that out. So what I want to do is go through just very, very quickly. It's not going to be AI. I'm just going to really just jump the ship here just to show you what's actually showing you in here. I've done a video on Victor Schauberger before. I'm going to burp. Hold on. Oh, God. Oh, I needed that. So, yeah, Victor Schauberger, who did work for the Germans. I think that bloody pigs and blankets come back up. Yeah, who did work for the Germans in 1930s, and he actually built like this small device called the propulsion. And if you go to Victor Schauberger's video I did called The Power of Water, I think, and I did a whole video on him, but he did work for the Germans building an apparatus which might be shown here. Oh, yeah, there it is. There we go. Okay. So Victor Schauberger gets glossed in with what we've been talking about today. So this is the Rudolf Schriever Otto Hobbermoor flying disc developed between 1943 and 1945. In 1944, it climbed the velocity and reached a height of 12 kilometers in 3.12 minutes. And the horizontal flight speed of 2,000 kilometers per hour, whatever that is. So, yeah, that is a concept. But anyway, Victor Schauberger's flying saucer. So, Victor Schauberger, born in 1885 to 1858. an Austrian inventor who was involved with Hitler's Third Reich, invented a number of flying discs for the Nazis between 1938 and 1945. Based on liquid vortex propulsion, many of them, according to records, actually flew. One flying saucers reputedly, is that right? Reputedly destroyed at Linstein, had a diameter of 1.5 meters and a height of 135 kilos, sorry, and was started by electronic motor, one of 12 horsepower. I don't want to read anymore. This is it. This is why I used AI. But yeah, he basically created this device here called the propulsion. And there's an actual museum dedicated to Victor Schauberger. And in here, they actually took this device apart, which he developed in the 1930s. And it has these water vortex suction. It's almost like implosion, basically. He created the idea of implosion, which is basically suction, like... talking about Bonnie Blue there, I know for a second there when I was talking about suction. Explosion, rocket propulsion systems, car engine. You need an explosion to actually force the piston to go up, and that's an explosion. Same with a rocket propulsion system itself. But implosion, it's like sucking in and using that as a way of defining gravity. And yes, liquid propulsion system, or what Antonino is saying right here, is that the fact that this was actually suck the air into the actual device itself, and it will expand outwards. And I think we've got a diagram somewhere around here. But there, that's just the spiral motion. But basically, that's what it is. It basically suck the air in, and there'll be like these small, basically like a copper tubes going through. Now, as the thing is actually spinning, like rotation, as one aspect of what we're talking about today, the fact it will create electrical charge as well, because this was based on copper, and this would actually suck air in and will come out from the bottom, and this will create the propulsion system for the device itself. Whether or not it actually flew, this is it. This is the other thing. And this is a vertical spiral motion, a bit like a tornado, okay? So, but again, Victor Schauberger does get brought up a lot in German flying saucer mythology, all right? But he's nothing to do with this, okay? He created the repulsion device. Like I said, he did work for the Germans. Oh, right, okay. Actually, I've got a ride-along lawnmower. It's probably the same horsepower as that. Well, that's not much. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Okay. But again, if you see a video of them actually holding the original device, it's actually in the museum. It seems quite heavy, but it's made out of copper. I mean, copper's quite heavy in general, isn't it, when you look at it? But yeah, immensely fascinating on that one. But I'm just going to skip ahead here. That's another crew drawing of these are the famous smokeless, soundless Schauberger's model. And I believe he created two of them. Now, the top bit here is missing, but you do have the overall device here. Actually, I'll show you a model in a minute. Living with Water by Victor Schauberger. We talked about this last time. Hans Kohler's tachometer. This is the amplifier transformer that was used for the anti-gravity sides for the flying saucers, which we did talk about in depth in the research that I did. Part 7 or 8, I can't bloody remember. Hans Kohler, a German engineer researcher from the period from 1936 to 1945, evolved several promising solid-state electro-energy sources using permanent magnets, various shaped coils, copper plates, and condensers, or what was known as capacitors. Two significant devices were produced from this wartime research. The first being a and current flow device, or current flow device, call it that, because that's a German word I can't pronounce, which consists of a central transformer comprised of two flat coils, with the ends of the secondary flat coils connected to a series of south poles to the two permanent magnets. The north pole of the two permanent magnets are linearly connected to two flat copper plates. Man, I I can't read properly, mate. I will butcher my words up like now and then. But here we go. I've talked about it on part 7 or 8. I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, Hans Corler's tachymeter. This is the V7. Apparently, this is original photograph of it actually in flight, and this is the discus-shaped aircraft. Have I got a thing here I can show you? No, I don't. It's not on my thing there. Okay, but anyway, that is the discus-shaped craft. So we're not talking about the propeller spinning around. This is the jet engines that were mounted to it. And this is apparently in flight. This is the second model after we go back to the original concept of Rudolf Schriever's design. And here it is here. There we go. That's the V7. There we are. So there's some illustrations and diagrams from back in the day. So you can see there's many different designs of the actual flying disc itself. Yeah, there was another concept brought up by Dr. Richard Muthey. One of the teams of brilliant engineers who worked on the unconventional aircraft designs for the Nazi war effort. The saucer was almost ready for operation use in 1945. Then the factories in Prague were overrun by the Allies. And this is another concept. So then we had the 3 models, and then apparently Dr. Richard Muthey had his own project and created this. So that's the 4th one. But again, there's no real evidence to back any of this up. What else we got here? Yeah, I've actually got these books here. Oh, sorry, guys. I'll get to chat in a minute. I'm just going to get this out of the way. I do have this book, German Jet Genius, and there's an extract in here called Project Saucer. And this is Dr. Richard Muthey that did come forward in the 1950s in the magazine that I can't believe remember. And I did talk about it in the past. And again, another Schriever disc that looks nothing like the concept. This one kind of looks like it a little bit. Schriever and Hubble flying disc. What it's saying here. Serious German interest in disc-shaped aircraft seems to have originated from the spring of 1941, when Rudolf Schriever, a Luftwaffe aeronautic engineer, designed his first flying top, the prototype of which is being test flown in June of 1942. Schriever followed these experiments carried out in collaboration with 3 colleagues. That will be Otto Hobbenmoor, Richard Muthey, and Giuseppe Belluzzo, by constructing an even larger flying disc in the summer of 1944, which would have been the V7. It is not clear how these early designs were to be powered, but a bigger version with a advanced jet engine was reportedly designed at the BMW factory near Prague. Information on this aspect of German jet aircraft development is very sketchy. It certainly is indeed. The project was always highly secret. The documents that may have existed were probably either destroyed, lost, or taken by the Russians when the war ended. A last possibility is that the Allies discovered Schriever's work and considered it too important to reveal. However, in the late 1950s, Rudolf Schriever himself described his work on the wartime research program named Project Saucer. Schriever and Hubble designed comprised a large area disc rotating around a central cupola-like cockpit. The disc was made up by adjustable wing surface, which could be positioned for takeoff or level flight. Dr. Richard Muthey, or Heinrich Richard Muthey, also developed a 138 or 400. 100. I was going well there. 138 feet or 42 meter diameter flying disc powered by vectorable jets. This machine is said in many refers actually to have flown, and one source even pinpoints the date of the first flight as February the 4th, 1945. The place as in Prague on that flight machine designed. Oh no, it's all gone a bit funny. All right, well. What do you know? What I noticed that with Samsung phones, right? That the fact that it goes like clear and then the sides go all blurry. I don't know. Because I cleaned the lens and all that. But anyway, well, that's just a brief idea. BMW, yeah, this is the whole idea of the V7, mate, which is that one there. They used 12 BMW 12.0 accreted engines that went around the craft. Okay, so this is the last craft that they used. Like I said, it allegedly was powered by a BMW jet engine. 37,000 feet. Well, that's quite high. That's cruising altitude. That is quite high, I have to admit. So yeah, German jet genius. I actually have it there. Where is it too? Oh, it's right at the bottom of my book. So that's a no-go. And that came out in 1982. All right. This is Werner von Braun's book in 1949. It goes for about £1,000 on eBay. And I'm like, oh, it's just... Actually, what's it called again? I'm going to Google it. Hold on. So that's called The Mars. Is that a J? Here's a J. Yeah, got it. Von Braun. Okay. Get the hell out of here. Okay. Oh, the fucking price. Oh, what the hell? People are taking the piss when it comes to books. Let's have a look. Oh. Oh, dare I? Dare I? Hold on. Oh, this is a rarity. There's one there, £110 plus £13. Oh shit. That's his original book. The Mars Project. Yes. 1961. No, this is 1949. You see how much these books cost. Got Werner von Braun's authentic autograph. 1,163p. Yeah, that book there. So look. Sorry, I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to my books. Oh, you know me, I'm a book collector. Yeah, nice Christmas present. I'll probably just stop myself then. The thing has got 99.5%. I don't know. Let's have a look. Oh, this is 1953. Right. Okay. Well. Huh. Sorry, guys. I am. No, let's move on because I'm wasting your time here. So I just went on a book hunt then. I was like, oh, I got really excited and it's like, oh, can I actually buy that? No, mate. Let me just well, the thing is, this needs to go and I want to upgrade my microphone. And it would be a nice Christmas gift, but at the same time, I've got this tooth to be taken out in the beginning of the year, which is going to cost me 240 quid. So I'm just like, oh, bloody hell. But the microphone, I am a book addict. If it's still there, normally when books are for that price, that are over 100 quid, it normally stays there for quite a while. Trust me, I know my vintage books. You know me, I'm a bit of a collector myself. So I know these things. So if it goes, it goes. It's not that important. But one thing, as a vintage book collector, especially on ufology, it actually gains price. It actually goes up in price each year. It's all artificially inflated on purpose, isn't it, when you look at it? But excuse me, but I do love ufology, but in original ufology, which I'm talking about, books, which I'm showing you right here. It's where my love is, man. But yeah, that book there, I'll have a little look. 1949. All right. And here are some concepts of Werner von Braun's book, or is it Man's Mars Mission? NASA Lewis Research Center. Okay, fair enough. Looks like a tic tac, doesn't it? Yeah, it's got some pretty wicked photographs of these like 1950s, 60s flying saucers. Yeah, mate, I tell you what, the thing with I'm going to call you Antonino. With Alien Addict, I love publications. Every episode I bring out, I want to show you a magazine from back in the day, for instance, information on any of these books to do with ufology, and that's where my love is, man. And that's why I want to bring this literature to you, because look, I could play a video of what someone else has made of ufology, but it's a bit boring, man. I've got so much content here to bring forward, and it's immensely fascinating. So there is never a shy day of information on these books, which I absolutely love. Like I said, I'm a vintage book collector on ufology. I absolutely love the topic, but it comes with its perks, and it comes at a price as well, because these books are not exactly cheap. Let's just go through these some photographs here. Nothing really to do with German flying saucers. I think we're kind of moving on to that sort of topic. Might be some truth in that forbidden book. Yeah, there could be, mate. There could be. It's got a lot of information there to get your hands into and wrap your brain around it for sure. Ufology books have a limited print. This is it. This is why it's pricey, mate. I'll tell you what, that book I showed you, I think Antonino brought it up. Whoa. This one, to do with the Aztec crash. I had this on the cards for quite a while. Do you know how much this book goes for? It's about 500 quid, 600 quid, or $600. So it's around about £500. And it's a big, lengthy book. It's to do with the Aztec crash in 1948. I got this for 80 quid. You find that now, and it's like I said, $500 to $600 or £500. It's crazy. So this is it's mine. I ain't selling it. But again, the price of the value goes up and up. Yeah, like I said, it comes to a price. It comes at a price, but if you save your money and you're willing to put that money into it, go for it, I say, because then it's got current value. It's not necessarily saying I'm actually going to sort of sell it within time because I want to make a profit out of it. No, because I want to keep this as historical content for ufology, you know. Or I've just got an obsession with books. Who knows? Who knows? Well, an extra fiver. Mate, add an extra couple of zeros on top of that, and I think we've got a deal on that. Oh, mate, it's yeah, you got to capture it at the right time, and you just find these gems on eBay. It's mostly eBay I find these books. And another one is called, I think it's called ABE Books. Yeah, I think that's the other one you can find. But nevertheless, let's go back to this photograph here. Hold on, I think I need to a sniffy sniff of my oh shit, sorry, make a noise. All right, hold on. Oh god. At this point where it comes to 2 hours on a live stream, I sound bunged up. It's come to the point where my sinuses are playing up, so I just had a bit of a whiff of this Vicks Sinex Soother. Thank you so much. Sponsor me, Vicks. Right, let's show this photograph. Right, this one right here. This week, this sequence of 5 photos was taken in South Africa in the early 1950s and is sometimes referred to as the South African series. This astonishingly clear photos of what is a domed flying disc flying over the town clearly shows a rubber inflatable landing cushions, most probably a German manufactured of the Haunebu Series 1 and 2 series. The new Schwaben territory in the Antarctic is just opposite of South Africa. I guess so. Here we go. Yeah, with the Hounaboo, a bit of glue. Oh, back in the day. Actually, no, they changed it now. I think I remember when I was in secondary school, this is like early 2000s, I think they changed the compound of glue to stop it from smelling. I know it was a thing back in the day. But I don't know. This is a very typical flying saucer from the 1950s. Where is it to? Yeah, 1950s right there. All right, moving on. I like this one here. Look at that. We just don't see them anymore. These photographs. So you could say, oh, well, Mick West would be, oh, definitely fake. Look, there was some fakery back in the day for sure. But I think there's some truth to some of these photographs. Yeah, and what Antonino is saying here is that they could have actually manufactured the actual craft itself. And this could be something military. So, yeah, that's a good point, Antonino. Yeah, definitely not ruling that out. But what's it saying here? So, yeah, 1950. So, yeah, 1957. Germans were definitely working in the Americans. So I should have said that again. Working with the Americans, especially there was a lot of UFO sightings in Texas and around that area. So this photograph was taken on October the 20th, 1957 at 4 p.m. by Tom O'Bannon. Took this photo of a small craft hovering behind his house 30 miles east of Winnomer, Wisconsin. Yeah, so that's some place I cannot pronounce because I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's an interesting photograph. Look at that. Yeah. This is it. That's a very good point, actually, because what sort of propulsion system were they actually using? If they're going by the concept of Rudolf Schriever design, the spinning, I don't think we're taking this concept here, to be honest with you, because you can't see any fan or jet propulsion here. It just seems like one solid saucer, even with this photograph as well. So I don't know, man, but you keep seeing these photographs being brought up again and again and again. And I tell you what, Anthony, if you want a really good book on that era of flying saucers, there is another book which is quite expensive, and it's this here. I've got there's two books. It's volume 1 and volume 2, UFO photographs, volume 1, volume 2, and it has loads of pretty much photographs of flying saucers, like the typical flying saucers, like that, basically. So yeah, but interesting to see what noise it actually makes. Very good point. Right, let's have a look. Let's move on from that. I bet they were allowed. Yeah, possibility. I mean, 1950s is kind of, in terms of what technology they actually had back then. Yeah. Let's have a look. Oh, here's another one. Yeah, I've got these photographs here just to show you. They look pretty good, actually. Let's have a look. Again, we have, which I find interesting, the 3 landing cushions underneath. And that can be backed up by those photographs as well. So this is on June the 16th, 1967, at midday at Horland Tradle. Took these photos. Oh my god, I am screwing my flipping words up. I don't want to read anymore. When it comes to this point, I'm like, I get self-conscious. But yeah, I just found that interesting. If you just look at that flying saucer, look, again, it's got detail to it. And it seems one solid craft as well. Can't see a propulsion system behind it. Unless you could say with the Hounaboo craft itself, it did have the 3 indentations underneath it as maybe a propulsion system. But again, we had, what's his name? George Adamski photograph from the 50s as well that had the same 3 indentations underneath it. Actually might be popped up at some point. Let's read this nice and slowly, Nick. Nice and slowly. Taken in September of 1957. This photograph shows an apparently disc-like object pursuing a B-57 bomber near Edwards Air Force Base in California. Yes, read it right. Damn. Look at that. Unfortunately, apologies for the lack of quality of the photographs here, because once I zoom in, the pixelations are pretty dire, isn't it, really, when you look at it? Yeah. Nevertheless, pretty good. Anything else? No, I think that's it. Okay. Okay, that's it there. Fantastic. All right. I think that's it for that. Brilliant. Okay. So yeah, just to show you some old photographs from back in the day, some that look like these flying discs from like the 1950s and stuff like that. But whether or not they're actually military, this is it. But they almost have the same sort of consistency when you look through it. In fact, I tell you what, I'm going to bring up the channel of Alien Addict, and I'm going to show you which ones to actually look at, because I think it's worth showing you this video. Yeah, where have all the classic flying saucers gone? All right, and it's this one here, and we went through all the old photographs from back in the day, and it's quite interesting to see, especially in the 50s and 60s. They almost have like the same consistencies, the old typical flying saucer craft itself, and then it went to the triangle aircraft in the 1980s. We still have the balls of light, the Seviers we're seeing today. And then we're up to the Tic Tacs and, you know, the orbs, which, again, the orbs have been seen for thousands of years, really. But that's a very interesting video to go check out, where I have all the classic flying saucers gone. But in terms of German flying saucers, we've been talking about today, the first and second part, I have talked about that. The third part, it's where the photographs of the flying saucers itself. Talked about Maria Orsic, God knows how many times. And 1, 2, 3. Must have been like 4 parts of Maria Orsic. I am obsessed by her, honestly. Right, I think that's it. Yeah, let's get out of that. So, yeah, always triangles. Yeah, for sure. I don't see any of these in any of these books here, but yeah, that's primarily in the 1980s. In fact, I could do like a follow-up show on that. The Belgian wave of 1989, I believe. Actually, I did a show with Hidden on that. But yeah, immensely fascinating. Like, I'm still seeing triangles today. Definitely seeing it. Yeah, I don't see any airships these days either. I mean, in fact, if you look at in the late 18th century, there was the airship phenomena, which in fact was like the first UFO sightings for back in the day. That described these massive airships being seen in the sky. Again, it could be some sort of advanced technology that people didn't know back in the day. But yeah, actually, I'll bring it up at some point, because that's like one of the first, isn't it? The airships. So, yeah, but I hope that was a bit entertaining, guys. I know it gets a bit tedious with this AI voice, but it's better than Jenny saying it than I saying it. Do you know what I mean? Because my reading skills is only subpar, really. So, but I really want to give you the real nitty-gritty details on Rudolf Schriever itself. There's just a few more things. Shall I bring up? Because we've gone over 2 hours. So I tell you what, I'm going to end the show there purely because it is Christmas Eve, and I think the missus want to sort of chill out a little bit. Yeah, I've got quite a lot to talk about on Saturday's show. So it's going to be me and you guys, everyone in chat. Oh, thanks, man. Much appreciated, Anthony. I really do. And yeah, it'll be more interacting with you guys. What I've got to be talking about on Saturday. Remember, Saturday. Normally go live on Fridays, so it's going to be Saturday this time. I did find this quite interesting. Absolute nonsense. UFO X, evidence and rational thinking. I'm in this sort of camp, and that is my like. Well, I tell you what. On Saturday, we'll do like a roundup show. I could do like a big long show on what 2025 actually bring for ufology. We'll bring up space dildos, boogospheres, Aztec mummies, the whole shebang, and a bit of Maria as well, I think. Yeah. Oh, no, that's cool, man. Yeah, don't worry, you bunch, you Saxon. It's all good, man. It's all good. But yeah, we'll do a little catch up on Friday. This photograph here, taken by Jeff Greenshaw, I believe. that was taken in the 1970s. We're going to be breaking down this as well, that case. I saw that. We talk about 2025's is it Aztec mummies or Azcan mummies or something like that, and amongst other things as well. Thryer Atlas, that's gone a bit silent now, but yeah, that's all to come on Friday. On Saturday, sorry. God damn it, keep getting it wrong. Yeah, that's and that's what I have in store for you guys. Just one thing. I don't know whether or not this is a troll or people are just that gullible, but the 3i Atlas page that has over 500,000 likes, members, subscribers, whatever it's called, put this up, right? Leaked from inside source. An alien being medically supported as a bright light causes the alien to squint. You can see the iconic size of the eye cavity where the eyelids would normally open up. Mate, that's from the fucking X-Files. That's the X-Files. Some people actually bought it was actually true. And I'm just going, are people that gullible? I've watched the whole entire X-Files, and I saw that. I was like, yeah, that's like season 5, episode like 12. I think the alien is actually in the train. I can't remember what. I'll see if I can bring it up on Friday. But like literally, so I don't think someone's actually trolling, but I think it's like a bit of an experiment just to see how people are. God, I hate to say this, but people have been quite gullible this year, isn't it? It's like, come on, guys, where's the rational thinking? But nevertheless, that is all to come on Friday's show. Saturday's show. God damn it, I get it wrong. I'll remind everyone, and I'll pre-organize the show anyway, so you all guys know. But yeah, it'll be a nice, funny show. We'll bring up some Art Bell, hilarious phone calls as well. It will be an idiotic time, I should say. But no, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. We'll sort of cap off the year. No, in fact, no. I think we can squeeze one in. Yeah, Tuesday the 30th. We'll do a magazine thing on that one. But yeah. But Saturday the 27th. And the day after that is actually my birthday. Gonna be 36. Man, I'm getting old. Physically fit, but mentally not doing that great. But it's 2025, what do you expect? But nevertheless, guys, thank you so much. Come say goodbyes now. And I'm wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas, which is going to be just in over an hour's time here in England. But I do appreciate everyone being in chat. It's been... Chameleon UK, sorry, man. If I missed you, brother, I'm really, really sorry. I was just busy doing my thing. But yeah, a Merry Christmas to you, Chameleon. And yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't like goodbyes. Man, stop complaining, Nick. You have a wonderful food tomorrow. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. But yes, Antonino, I know you're new in chat. Thank you so much for your contribution. And you're more than welcome to pop anytime. And yeah, it's a pleasure as always. Got some really good questions to put forward. And obviously critical thinking. That's what I like. I like the hard questions, you know. And I think you need to apply that with German flying saucers, especially the mythos behind it. But Antonino, have a Merry Christmas, brother, and wishing you all the best. And Paul Robinson's to you, brother, as well. Happy Christmas. And Sheep Hop Pop. And yeah, much appreciated. And Eversor. Yes, got it right. Yes. And a very Merry Christmas to you. And Merry Christmas to you, Space Cow. And back to you, One True Saxon and Bob Lazar. I'm just going to go back down again. I think that's it. Space Cow, and to you too, my friend. Happy trails to you. And yeah. Nick, I took the books. No. Now it's 3 zeros at the end of that £75, and then we might have a deal. As long as I get a deposit for a house, I'll be fine. but nevertheless, I'm wishing you a very Merry Christmas to everyone. And and Trinity Mac. That's it, Trinity Mac. Merry Christmas to you too, and wishing you all the best. And yeah, so I'll catch you Saturday, guys, for another live stream, another entertaining one. And if you like what you see, please like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. And yeah, see you on Saturday at 9 o'clock for another live show. Have a very Merry Christmas. If not, have a good New Year. And don't do a thing I wouldn't do. Talk about German flying saucers to my nan tomorrow. That's what I'm going to be talking about. Talking about the Nazis and Third Reich. Great entertaining, I'm pretty sure. But nevertheless, have a good one, guys. And I'll see you soon. Intro.
Elvis has left the building. Absolutely. Rotary Matrix, thanks for being in chat, man. Much appreciated. Merry Christmas to you, Ray Clay, and Chillster as well. And everyone who's lurked as well. And have a very Merry Christmas. And just imagine that in your mouth tomorrow, you dirty, filthy thing. See you soon.